Hi, good evening. It is raining here now, and I will tell the weather in a moment. I am the Loon, and welcome to our new experiment. It's News with the Loon. The time now is 6:41, and I am going to start with the weather since I mentioned it. Give me a moment, and we are going to talk about the local weather. If you are in New York, we have a 93% of rain, and from the sounds of it, also thunderstorms. Tomorrow, most likely, we have an 80. It's probably going to rain. It's probably an 80% chance of rain tomorrow. So if you're getting up early in the morning, bring an umbrella. Okay. And right now, even though it's raining and you hear the thunder in the distance, it's 97 degrees currently. Okay. Now, let's go to the main course of today. First thing we want to talk about, and I did mention I didn't mention, this is my news with my commentary and my input. I try to give credit to where I get the sources from, which is from news articles on the internet. Now, this particular topic I'm going to touch upon is the Texas floods. This is the flood that happened basically on July. They got the warning July 3rd. So the flood happened at the night of July 3rd, probably early July morning, because the flash floods came early in the morning. Currently, last I checked, and this is at around maybe 3:30 today, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The death toll is up to 108 people. Today marks the fifth day for the search and rescue and their efforts to find more of the missing personnel. Currently, 27 girls that were attending camp, the camp Mystic, young girls, have been declared dead. Um, President Trump and the First Lady is expected to visit the region on Friday. I say expected to visit the region because despite the tragedy, they are still expecting more rain. They had news earlier today that it was going to lighten up a bit, but they are still having difficulty due to the terrain, due to the damage of finding personnel. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem recalled the relentless efforts of the first responders and their efforts to find those who are hiding and surviving, and unfortunately those who have perished. While she was inspecting the site, she encountered parents picking up their children's items. I'm sorry. That this is I don't have children, but it should get you a little emotional that these parents had to go to these campsites and into these muddy areas where their children were sleeping and picking up their belongings and putting them in bags. She has requested that the parents are escorted onto the campgrounds and there are counselors available for grieving parents, even those parents who aren't grieving, because it is no parent should have to experience such a traumatic event when it comes to their children. Kerr County has lost 87 people alone out of the 108. 56 people out of that 87 were adults, and 31 were children. This number, I do not believe, is including the 26 from the camp. Uh, there are currently 5 campers and 1 adult that are still missing from Camp Mystic. Rescue operation is ongoing. So, despite the fact that it's been 5 days, there is still hope in the hearts of those parents, those relatives, the people in that area, and the country that they will still find people alive. That's all you could do is hope and pray. The city of Kerrville is receiving an outpouring of generosity, according to the mayor. The mayor of Kerrville, Joe Herring, is currently working on a new way to accept those donations and will post on the Kerrville's Facebook page of the manner that they will receive donations. There is still a small chance, like I mentioned earlier, of rain um, hitting that area and possibly causing more damage. I like to take a moment. I did say this is, if you read the intro, it's news with commentary. So I'm going to put my input. A lot of people said that they should have been earlier warning. Like I mentioned earlier in this segment, the warning was put out the night before. On X, I'm sure on Facebook. Unfortunately, I'm not on that as much. On X, on Facebook, throughout, you could see videos of how quickly, literally in less than 10 minutes, how much this river swelled up. And this area, and I was speaking to a native Texan, that area is prone to flash flooding. They have not had I think it's been over a decade, probably 2 decades. They haven't had um, a flash flood like in this manner. Excuse me, but they have. They are known for flash flooding. Now, let's take a moment and understand that we have grieving relatives right now on a massive scale. We have grieving parents, which should never happen, in my opinion. If you're a faith believing person, I suggest you take some take some time and send some prayers of healing and tolerance. And if you do have a child of your own, give them an extra hug. I was always told no one is promised tomorrow, and you never think that applies to children. Moving on to the next story. Unfortunately, Texas is not the only state of the United States going through something right now. We have fires once again in Hawaii. If you are going to Hawaii, check which island you're going to, check the province you're going to, because as of July 3rd, it set off a bunch of brush fires, which a little bit got out of hand. On July 3rd, a wildfire in Maui, Hawaii, and if I mispronounce that, people of Hawaii, please forgive me, which burned 95 acres. This fire triggered an evacuation notice for most of the residents in the area. Unfortunately, a 94-year-old woman was rescued, but she was rescued with fire burns. And as of today, has been reported that she has succumbed to her fire-related injuries. May she rest in peace. But unfortunately, this is not the only place where brush fires are going. Um, in Hawaii, you have in Oahu, Kunia, Nanakuli, and Wapaku. Once again, if I mispronounce them, I do apologize. I am not native to that island and I am unfamiliar with the language. Um, those fires have had brush fires. The fire in Nanakali has been contained 80%. If you are traveling to Hawaii, just take note. If you're traveling in Hawaii, Hawaii is a hot island. It is summer. It is dry. If you smoke, don't flick it outside. We have the same issue here in New York City, in Long Island, with brush fires. And 9 times out of 10, they are due to someone flicking ashes out, a cigarette out into the brush. Just keep that in mind. And that's also a note. That's also a notice to those of you who like to drive on the parkway and go to Long Island too. It's summer, it's dry, fires happen quickly, even if it does rain. Keep keep that in mind. Now, still, United States world news. This is a biggie. And I am going to share this screen because we had a big announcement today by the Trump administration. The Trump administration has announced that it will ban the purchase of farmland within the U.S. amid concerns over national security when it comes to Chinese citizens and personnel. This announcement comes from Brooke Rollins, head of Department of Agriculture. If you see the image I have here on the screen, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can make it bigger. This map here, which I want to make larger. There we go. Okay, this map here shows that Chinese-owned entities meaning they are not citizens of the United States, they're business personnel, and they actually own, according to this article, 300,000 acres. Now, the problem with these acres, if you could see this, and I want to see if I can make this larger. No, I can't. Okay. This is as big as I could get it. I'm going to take the link and put it in the chat if you want to take a look at it closer. What this shows is that most of this land that has been purchased and farmland that is owned all surround military bases. I'm sorry, I put it in the chat, but it was a private chat. I do apologize. There it goes. It should go there. That's a link to the article from the Washington Journal. And this is a safety and security concern. And this comes the last, I think, month or so, at least 2 Chinese personnel, citizens entering this country have been detained due to them carrying viruses that are damaging and would affect our farmers and our crops. This is not new to us conspiracy theorists. This has been a complaint that we've had for decades. And the funny thing about it is, well, it's not funny, but the interesting about this particular issue is that if you listen to local news of other countries, particularly in the West Indies, because I listen to that for my own personal reasons. I think it was late 90s, early 2000s, there was a big complaint there about Chinese nationals buying excessive land and outdoing businesses and stuff like that, although they were not citizens. We shall see how far they go. The Secretary of DOD, I think it's Peter Hetzik. If I said his name I incorrectly, I do apologize. He made a comment about it is important for the security of the United States that the posts that are here in the U.S. must know who owns the land right outside their posts for the security of the American people and the military that serves. Now let's go to local news. You may not be interested if you're not from New York City because I'm going to talk about it. Now, New York City is busy and it takes more than even an hour for the professionals to talk about it. So I'm going to pick 2 boroughs a day to just highlight a few things. Let's go to Queens because Queens ain't got nothing but Queens in it. Okay, enough of the corniness. In Queens, Flushing, Queens in particular, a 76-year-old woman, unfortunately, is dead due to an e-bike fire. Okay, the fire occurred at Shinga's Famous Pizza, located on Casina Boulevard in Flushing. The fire occurred, I believe, July 3rd or July 4th. At the time of the fire, there were 5 patrons inside, and unfortunately, the 76-year-old became trapped after the fire started when she went into the bathroom prior to the start of the fire. The particular e-bike that started the fire was right outside the restroom. So as soon as that thing ignited, unfortunately, there was no getting to her. This e-bike situation is, especially here in New York, is a big deal. This is how we get our deliveries, most of us. Especially if you're in a highly populated area like Flushing. Excuse me, it's easier to travel than driving, and a lot of deliveries, especially in the city too. A lot of delivery personnel use an e-bike. The FDNY this year alone has seen 122 e-bike fires. Now, if you own an e-bike, if you use an e-bike, if you know somebody who has an e-bike, take your precautions. Know where you can put it and where you can't. Know where to charge it and where not to charge it. It's highly recommended that you charge it outside, but make sure the outlet won't short. Make sure the outlet can support what you're charging. Let's do better, people. I understand. I don't hate the hustle. Trust me. I live by delivery. But we got to do better. These e-bike fires need to be taken care of in a more responsible manner, or else there will be laws put in place that will make your life difficult. That easy buck you're making right now will become more difficult. So if you own an e-bike, Be the responsible adult that you're trying to be by making that hustle. That's just my opinion. Okay? Now, also in Queens, and I have to share this. Now, when I traveled to Germany, there was something I was introduced to as doner kebabs. All right? If you like doner kebabs, if you like kebabs, Friday is your day. Because July 11th is World Kebab Day. And we have in Queens, New York, we have a German style kebab eatery, which is going to have a promotional and celebrate this day. So if you are in Astoria or if you are in Bayside, the address is 31-15 30th Avenue in Astoria. And in Bayside is 404A Bell Boulevard. They are having their special for and have special offers for doner kebabs. If you have not tried a doner kebab, this is your day to try it. It is one of the best dish I ever had in Germany. And it's called the Donut House, if you don't know. So if you want to have a family night, it could be affordable. I'm not sure what their prices are, but go ahead. I'm going to put the link in the chat for those who come later so you could see, check them out, and go out and celebrate Donut Kebab Day. It's good. Okay. And then lastly, I'm going to go into Brooklyn. First story I want to hit up on Brooklyn. I'm going to tell the details first, and then I'm going to give my opinion. A would-be kidnapper was foiled in Coney Island. I believe this happened on July 3rd. Yeah, I believe it happened on July 3rd. The date, I'm sorry. I didn't write that down, and I will be better on that. A 36-year-old suspect attempted to grab a young boy who he thought was abandoned because his parents was maybe a few feet away from him. Parents were alerted once the child started screaming and trying to wrestle out of this would-be kidnapper's hands. The suspect only got a few feet before the parents caught up with him, and then he abandoned, dropped the kid on the ground and took off. The suspect was arrested due to the quick thinking and alert and response of a police officer in the area. The boy was taken to Coney Island Hospital and is listed in stable conditions. Parents, if the kid ain't holding your hand, the kid is too far. I can't say how many times I'm out and about, even during broad daylight, just walking around doing my job, my day job, and I see kids running a few feet away from their parents. That few feet may be too far. I'm just saying. We live in very odd times right now. Keep your babies close. They should be under you till they're old enough to sock somebody enough if they try to grab them to cause them to let go. That's my personal opinion. I am not encouraging violence, only encouraging self-defense. Um, that was in Brooklyn. Now I want to do happy stories too, and I found an article that had best ice cream in Brooklyn because it is hot. Even with this rain that just hit, it is hot out here. And we, as you can see, I am sweating, and for once this is not a hot flash. But if you are visiting and if you happen to go into Brooklyn, I'm going to give you three places. Yeah, three places to visit. These are new places. We have Birdie on 316 Kent Avenue. This is owned by a multi Michelin star pastry chef, Renata Amani. This is her store. And if it's a hot day, you happen to be in the area, because she added 4 new ice cream sundaes onto her menu. Those ice cream sundaes are just $10 each. Not a bad deal for Sundays, especially if you have kids. Another one is Cafe Pana on 16 Norman Avenue. And Haley Meyer and it opened it on an industrial corner in Greenpoint. So if you're on Norman and Banker, if you are familiar with that area, drop by, check it out. If anything, you get to cool down. And the last one is Kent Cones at 527 Stanley Avenue. This particular one, ice cream store, was open on Juneteenth of this year. And you could stop by and try some eggless ice cream there. Okay? So, Queens, Brooklyn, love you very much. I'm going to try to do 2 boroughs because, oh my goodness, do we have news on a daily basis? And I'm trying to keep up with what's going on a national basis. We're not even touching the world. Um, and I'm trying to keep this as short, as sweet as possible. But this is what's going on in the world right now. Hug your loved ones. Call your loved ones. Check on your loved ones. Show some appreciation. This is the Loon. I'm signing off. Mwah. Oh, and Manhattan, Bronx, Staten Island, I didn't forget you. I might hit you up tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Get some sleep and have a beautiful day tomorrow. And don't forget your umbrella.